Trophy Club, Country Club, and Trophy Club, Texas. And we're here tonight to present to you some really cool information about Rodan+Fields and salons and spas. But before we get there, I thought it was important that I share a little bit about my life and my journey, and a little bit about provision and friendship, and what you can, when you combine those things, what wonderful things can happen in a person's life. So I'm going to start out for me with the pictures of Rodan+Fields, the doctors, and we're going to move now to, this was my vision board 2 years ago. I had just started in the business. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was going to do, but somebody said, you've got to make a vision board. You've got to write down what you hope for your future. And I didn't want to do that. It was going to be hard, and it was going to be painful, and I didn't want to do it. So I took an entire Saturday one day, and I just sat down and I started putting all this together. And I'm not going to go over the whole thing with you, but I do want to point out some important aspects of this vision board and how things have come to fruition in my life. The first picture you see, those are my 6 children. And when that was taken, things were a little bit better in our lives. If I were to kind of jump back about 5 years before that, it was kind of stinky. I was a single mom of 6 at that point, and we had just left our home. And when we left, the kids and I, we left with what was in our vehicle, and we ended up going to a women's shelter. And that was my intake photo from the women's shelter. The one where they have you stand there and they take a picture to document that you were here and who you are. And I look at that now and I can't really figure out why I was smiling, because I was completely devastated at that point. I didn't know which end was up, and neither did my children, who, when that was taken, were all 5 of them were sleeping in one room at this shelter. And the baby at that point was Peyton. She wasn't quite 2. And so I look at that, and now I can look back and see that that was provision for us. That was a place to go where we could be safe when I felt like we weren't safe. So, provision. From that point on, I ended up getting a job in the construction industry, which was not in my, well, let's put it this way. My degrees were in education and counseling. I knew nothing about the construction industry, and I didn't want to know anything about the construction industry, but I needed a job. And God provided a job, provision. But in the process of that, I still needed to provide for the children. And the job that I had was great, but I had to do housing, and we needed insurance, we needed all of those things that when you have a family that you have to provide. And I wasn't able to make ends meet. So one of the things that I did for many years is I would stand in food lines to get food once a week for my family. And I took this picture one day, and it's the only picture I ever took when I was in a food line. And I took it because I wanted to remember that it was like 106 degrees that day in August, and those people were waiting in line, and I was at the other end of that line, and there were many more in front of us. And we were hot, and we were tired, and we were embarrassed, many of us, to be there. But that's provision. We were receiving food. We were getting what we needed, and God was providing that for us. So I look at that now, and I smile because we made it through that, and we got what we needed at that point, and God provided. This next picture is just a quick story. My kids had been angel tree recipients for many years in the school district. And that's whenever, if you've seen at your children's school, they put little notes on a tree outside the front office, and you open the little note and it says, this family has 4 children, boy 8, girl 6, boy 3, and that's all you know. And you pick those up and you can go and purchase Christmas gifts for the children on that list. So I've been doing that for many years. So middle of November of that year, I thought, you know what? I don't need this anymore. I'm not going to go and sign up for this again, because my kids, they're not going to be angel tree recipients, because I'm going to make this happen this year. So the counselor from the school called me. She said, Devin, are you sure that you can handle it this year? I'm like, yes, I've got this. Well, as soon as I hung up, this wave of panic came over me because I started thinking, how am I going to do this? So I waited a few days and she called me back again. She said, I need to know by Friday if you want to participate in this. And at that point, I just kind of caved and I said, okay, yes, we need to participate. And so she put our name back in so the kids could get Christmas presents. Well, it was a few weeks after that, my second son at the time he woke up sick in the night. And I was trying to soothe him. He goes, I just want some malto-meal. You know, that hot cereal, and it was just going to make him feel better. So I got up to making malto-meal and I didn't have any sugar. And so I told him, I'm so sorry, Landon, I'm going to get sugar today after I get off of work. I will get you sugar and I'll make sure you have malto-meal. So went to work, school, end of the day, had to take him to the doctor, go to the doctor, get the prescription, take it to the pharmacy, which is also in a grocery store. And they couldn't fill it for a long time, so I took him home. And right before the pharmacy closed, they called me and said, you need to come pick up your prescription. Well, if you've ever been a single mom or know a single mom, so I went to the grocery store that night, took all the kids, picked up the prescription, took them home. Next morning, Landon, the little one that was sick, woke up and said, Mom, can I have malto-meal today? And my heart just sank because I remembered I'd been at the grocery store that night getting the prescription, but I forgot the medicine. I forgot the sugar while I was there. So I apologized. I'm so sorry. I will get sugar today. I promised him. So I went on to work that day. Everybody went to school. I got a call from the counselor that afternoon from the school that was doing the angel tree. She said, we have your gifts. So she said, come and get them before everybody gets out of school, and I'll sneak you in the back, because it's a little embarrassing to go through a front office and you're getting all these angel tree gifts. She goes, I'll sneak you through the back. So I went and I picked up 5 bags of gifts because I had 5 children at home. I had one that was in college. And so I went home and each bag was for a particular child. And so I went through my oldest daughter's bag, and it was underwear and socks and shoes, and the next child, and the next child, a little boy, and had a dump truck and more socks and important things, pajamas for our family. So I get down to the last bag, which was Peyton, the little one. She was in preschool at that point, and kindergarten. And I picked up that bag, and I saw there's a baby doll in there, socks, underwear. Now there's another bag in the bottom, and I pulled it up, and it was that bag of sugar that you see on the screen. Somebody at some point had put a 2-pound bag of sugar in a little girl's Christmas bag for the angel tree. And it was at that point I looked at it, and I have goosebumps right now. But I realized right now, because I heard God say, Devin, I told you I would take care of everything you ever needed, even sugar. So I can't describe to you how exciting that was for me to race to go pick up those kids later on. I couldn't tell them all of it, but I could say that God gave us a bag of sugar that day, and they still talk about it all the time. We call them sugar moments, and a friend of mine calls them powdered sugar moments. So, provision. You know, we go through life and we worry, how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? This is an example of a bag of sugar from Target that ended up in a little girl's Christmas bag, but changed our life. So we went on. I was working a lot. My kids were in daycare, before school, after school. It was really tough. And I've been doing that for about 5 years, and I went into the office one day, and they said, we need to let you know that we have to fire you, lay you off. And I was pretty devastated because I didn't have a backup plan. Again, it was a time of the year that they weren't hiring teachers or counselors. And so I panicked a little bit. And I went home and I just fell on the floor of my closet, just not having any idea what to do. A couple of days later, I found out that the home that I was renting for the kids, the owner wanted to sell it. So I had till the end of the month to get out of that house. So the second thing was happening. And then a few days after that, there was a knock at my door, and it was a process server serving me court papers to do with custody of the kids, to take away all custody from me. So I was in the worst possible place that I could have ever imagined for myself at that point. It was terrible. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what to do. And so what I did start doing was I started writing. Somebody mentioned to me, what do you need help with? I said, I just need help trying to figure out what to do next. So I was writing some things and doing some things. And then I decided that, you know what, I want something in my life where I don't have to leave my kids every day the way I've been having to do. I want to be able to provide for them and be a mom at the same time. And that seemed completely impossible for me at that point in my life because I didn't have a house for them. I didn't even know if I was going to have them, and I didn't have a way to provide for them. So that was where that what if came in my life. And so I joined Rodan+Fields 2 years ago, and my why at that point was to feed my children. It wasn't any more than that. I didn't have ideas of accomplishing much of anything else. My goals were to feed people in my life and to provide for them. And in this company, I've been able to continue on. And I put this little 5 sign on my vision board 2 years ago, not really understanding even what it meant. But when I hit that milestone in my business in May, it registered with me when I went back to look at this vision board. Actually, my husband sent me back to look at it, and he goes, look where it was. Look where it was placed in the middle of that board, above all of that other stuff that had happened. But when I look at it now, all of that was provision, and so is this. So we started a team with Rodan+Fields, and it was based on a book that Pastor Robert Morris wrote. It's called The Blessed Life, and that really impacted my husband and me when we read it. So we decided to start a team called Bless a Life, because Pastor Robert's book is about giving back, tithing, providing for others, provision. The provision that I was given all these years, now my goal was to give back, to provide provision for others. So we started a team called Bless a Life. And so that's kind of the big story around why I'm here today and why this business has been very important to me. But it goes a step further. It's a lot more than just skincare, and it's a lot more than just starting a business. Regarding the model itself, what's been so fun is I've worked with other people my entire life. I've always worked for somebody else. I've never been able to do it myself. And that's the most exciting, but also most scary thing I've ever done. I realize now that I'm a pretty tough boss. And it's, sometimes I have to cut myself a break. And so being my own boss is something that's been kind of exciting for me with this business. I work on my own time. Those things that I wanted before to be available to my family, to be there before school and after school and at night, I can do that now with this business. I'm able to earn more income. That's a provision again. And because I had been embarrassed in my life for so long, this has allowed me to connect with people in a way that I wasn't doing before. This business causes me to interact with others when I had been hiding out in that closet that I do videos from most of the time. So that has been very cool for me. And the network, I didn't think I had one because I didn't have many friends. Like I said, I was embarrassed, so I didn't talk to anyone. But you have a network. And then in this business, you get to share this with those people. And not only do you have friends, but they have friends that you were able to interact with as well. So your network grows exponentially with this. And then you have many options with this. You can just talk to people about the products and make connections. You can sell products to people if they want to buy them. Or you can build a team. And I had the option of doing one or the other, but I decided to do both. And a lot of people that work with us, that's their goal, is to build a team as well. The business itself provides a lot for us. I had no background in this at all. I'm not a dermatologist. I've never owned a business. I didn't know the first thing about what this was about, and I didn't have to. They provided all of that for me. They give us operational support. They do all of the shipping. They do all of the marketing. Actually, there's no advertising. They just help us to know how to market. There's a zero advertising budget. They formulate all of the products, the testing. They do everything. They even provide us with the websites that people So it's not something that I had to go out and learn anymore. They also know that we're not dermatologists, most of us. And so they want to make it easy. So they provide what's called a solution tool online that allows people to answer 5 little questions. It takes about 10 seconds, and they get a little prescription at the end. It helps us as consultants know what they need. And then they offer constant support throughout this journey. They also offer, we call it a nurse line, but it's product specialists. If we have any questions regarding our products or the efficacy or how they interact with other things, we always have a place to go. And then more training. Always good training for us in this business. Now, I'm just going to quickly go over the products. It's really fast. The idea behind Rodan+Fields is to make sure that you have a virtual skincare clinic in your bathroom. You shouldn't have to go to a dermatologist to get the kind of skincare that's going to make you feel and look better. You shouldn't have to. We can provide that for you. It's multi-med therapy. It's the right ingredients with the right formulations in the right order, so everything builds one on top of the other. Now, we did something different with this presentation that I hadn't done before. I wanted examples of our team in these before and afters. So if you look here for the Soothe, you can see this is one of our team members, Alicia, and she started with the Soothe regimen, terribly sensitive skin. So this kind of gives you an idea of what it did for her. Unblemished is for adult acne, and we actually have Andrea here. These are her results, showing that she started in November of last year, and by January her skin had changed dramatically. And I wish you could all see her right now. She's pretty much glowing now. Next we have another team member, and this is after 11 months of use, and you can see there was some damage there, and the after 11 months has been incredible. And that's with Redefine. Fine lines and wrinkles help with that. And then the reverse regimen. Reverse, that's our team member Dawn right there. She was on the reverse regimen, and you can see how the dark spots had gone away, and then her the glowing skin came out from underneath, and the dark spots are gone. So that's part of our team, and we're really excited to show those results of them. Now, we are talking today about a number of things, but I wanted to mention a little bit about one of our team members, and she's actually the reason we're here tonight. The lady you see in blue there is named Alicia Flower. And I met Alicia probably 3 years ago. She was the cosmetology teacher for my daughter. My daughter was going through that program, which is through our school district, and Alicia was the teacher for that. And my daughter had struggled previously, and I went to Alicia right after. I said, she's going to be tough. And she's like, no, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. And sure enough, my daughter Keaton attached to Alicia. And the two of them traveled 11th grade and 12th grade together. And my daughter, who started out not looking, she would wear a black hoodie, put the hoodie over, and this is how she sat all the time. By the time she got through with Alicia's program and the school that was associated with that, Alicia had trained her, and she went to nationals in Kentucky and won. And what she had to do was do interviews and had to be in front of people. And the transformation with my daughter was incredible, because in large part to what this woman did for her. So when all of that was over with, to thank Alicia, I knew that she'd really been struggling with sensitive skin. So I gave her a Soothe regimen, because I just like, here, take it, thank you for all the help that you've done. So she took it, and she used it. And that picture you saw a few minutes ago of Soothe, that was Alicia, after 2 months. This is Alicia now. First picture when she first started in June of 2015, and this is Alicia on the right, in June 2016. Now the reason she doesn't have hair is because she was diagnosed in February, March, with a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And it stopped many of us in our tracks, but not Alicia. She has really pushed through this and fought through this. And she has become a very integral part of our team. She is one of those people that has encouraged nonstop. No matter what's going on with her, she has just continued to push the rest of us. And so her reasoning for joining Rodan+Fields, besides providing for her family, was because she wants salons and spas, because that's her background for 30 plus years being in salons and spas. She has been trying to get that message out to people about bringing those things, bringing Rodan+Fields into salon and spas. And so today is actually her presentation. This is a picture of us recently at a corporate event, and a lot of those people are here today. We just love each other and have the best time. And so this is kind of what Bless the Life is about. It's about people like Alicia, and it's about empowering other consultants, other people that might know about salon and spa owners, and to bring Rodan+Fields into that. So because Alicia today is on a plane to Chicago to get more of her chemotherapy treatments. She couldn't be here. And so she graciously trained David, my husband, for this next part of the presentation. So he's going to try really hard to do her justice.
Thank you. I don't know about you, but that's kind of hard to follow. So please bear with me. Alicia and I worked really hard on this presentation, and we called it Redefining Spas and Salons because it's her heart, and she knows so much about this industry, the intricacies and the things, and she just kept telling me all these different things about it. But she said it boiled down to two things. There was two really important things, and you had to understand why and how a spa works in order to understand how important they are. So she said, you have to understand how they make their money. There's really only two ways. And she told me, she said, that there's the core of the business of where it really starts is the service they provide. So why do we go to a spa? Because there's people who are going to do services for us. They're going to do laser treatments. They're going to do things like dermaplaning, all these different things, whether it's a salon or a spa. It's a place you go to receive service. And that's how they generate revenue, is by charging for those services. She said, but there's a second one, and that's the sales of products. And it provides an opportunity, once they're in their store, to come and use products when they leave that help them in that receiving those services. But there was a certain aspect about all this that she said was really important. The heart of the business is the technician. She spent 30 years of her life training these technicians on how to be successful and to bring business in the door and how to provide services that people wanted to come back for. And it's built on relationships. Just like with us in Rodan+Fields. People don't buy products, they don't buy services. They buy relationships. And that's where it was the most important thing, is understanding that whether it's service or product, people continue to come back because of the relationship. So when we look at the strength of a spa or a salon, it's the technician. What's the difference from one spa or salon to the other? Why do you pick and go to one or the other? It's because you go for the technician. There's a problem though. What happens if that technician leaves? That relationship that was built was not with the spa, but it was with the technician. So there's this weakness in how it works, and one of the biggest problems that spa or salon owners deal with is training and investing all this time into their technicians, and then they leave and they take their customers with them. Which connects to this, the structure of the spas and salons. You know, like I said, why do we go to spa? It's a place, there's a building. that structure so you can go to it, you know where that's where I can find it. But the problem with it is they have hours of operations. So when the shop is closed, all revenue stops. It stops. So you're limited on the time that you could provide services or sell products. So when we look at Rodan+Fields and we think about redefining spas and salons, Alicia really brought a lot of really interesting things to me. And she explained it to me, and she said, the strength is made stronger by Rodan+Fields with the technician. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she said, well, you got to understand why people leave. So they leave because, you know, they want more money, or they want a better position. They're offered, you know, a more prestigious thing. They don't feel like part of the spa, they feel like a worker. So what happens with Rodan+Fields, and when you set it up correctly, the spa owner is the lead consultant who sponsors everybody. And so when the technicians come in, they actually come in as consultants. So no longer are they an employee, they're an individual business owner that's part of a team. So now they feel empowered. They feel part of the ownership. They want to succeed because it's their business. It's not just the spa owner anymore. The other thing is, because of the structure, it's a place where people continually go. So we're always looking for new connections, developing new relationships. It's a place that automatically happens. New faces come to the spa or the salon every day. And so that consultant's excited to see new people because they're developing new relationships and growing their business because they bring them on as PCs. The other powerful thing about this, and I didn't even really realize it until she explained it to me, she says, the cool thing about Rodan+Fields is even though you've put all these great things so that the spas and salons are successful and they don't get that radical turnover, what happens if they still leave? Well, because the spa owner or the salon owner is the sponsor, everything that consultant sells, when they leave, goes back to the spa and to the owner. So when they go, and you can see how it fits together, they continue to grow the network even though they're not an employee anymore. So having them in the spa, yes, it's powerful, but it's just as powerful when they leave. And one of the things of how Rodan+Fields is set up is that if somebody stops being a consultant and they've developed consultants under them, they automatically roll up. So they go up to the next person, so they go back to the spa owner. So that chain is never broken. From now until they decide to move on. The structure with R&F is now made stable. How's that happen? We talked about what were the weaknesses. The store's only open so long. You only make money when you're providing services or selling products. What happens when the consultants who were previously technicians, when they go home, it's still their business. They're excited to talk about it. So those relationships, that selling, that expanding the business continues way after store hours. It happens at family picnics, at reunions, at girls' night out. The business is constantly going. It's not stuck in a time frame. Another aspect that's super powerful is the products, how they work, but also how we provide them. So in a spa or a salon, when you're selling product, you have to make a major outlay. $3,000, $4,000 of inventory. You have to have a room for the inventory. And then the markups can range anywhere from 10 to 50%. Some spas give the consultants a commission off of it, some don't. There's all kinds of different variations. And Alicia really got into that and explained it to me. But she said, could you imagine if you had this incredible infrastructure behind you that direct shipped product to your clients, and it was already in their database, and it was set on a program that could go every 2 months. So it didn't have to go to your store. And it's already scheduled. So every first of the month, you already have a backlog of products that are going to be sold even before you open the door. And what's even more powerful about it is instead of demanding the technicians to sell it, because maybe they might get a bonus, maybe they might not get a bonus, they're making 30% commission on it. They can't wait to sell it. They want to sell it because they're making more money from this. They're excited to. Then we talked about the spa, and especially the spa. And she said, there's times when people come in and you don't know that much about their skin, you don't know their history, and this. The tools that Rodan+Fields provides gives you the ability to look at their skin and diagnose it. So a new technician who doesn't have that experience can actually bring that tool out and look at it and explain it to the customer. But what it also does, and yes, this is an amazing picture of my beautiful wife, and she's laughing, embarrassed. This was actually after a treatment. So we were talking about Keaton, and while she was doing the IPLs, so it's lasers, and the whole laser process, and she wanted to show Devin and show her what she does and all that. She says, Mom, I can give you an IPL, so come and experience it. So she went and got the IPL, and the laser draws all the damage to the surface of your skin. So all that sun damage and the spots and the pigments, they come to the top. And they started the treatment on Devin, and nothing happened. Nothing came to the surface of her skin. And so they turned it up, and they went across her face more. Nothing happened. And then Lori, the storm, was like, well, Devin, would you mind if we tried on your chest right below your neckline to see the sun, because you get the same sun damage on your face over here. Can we try that? As soon as she put the laser on it, it lit up like a Christmas tree. It turned red, the spots. So you could see in this picture, her neckline, and this is in sunlight with no makeup. And the spots right here on her chest line looked like it was a splatter coat of paint. But there was no damage left on her face because she'd been using Rodan+Fields. And what Lori said was, she says, this is perfect. Because you can't come to a spa every day. And with the IPL, you can only do it once a month. And she says, the very fact that you have a product that can make up and complement what the spa was offering on those off days was amazingly powerful. Because now, instead of Rodan+Fields fighting against the spas and salons, they complemented the spas and salons. I've just touched the tip of the iceberg. There has been so much work that Alicia has done with corporate. They've put together whole ordering forms. They've talked about the back bar and how you could use the Rodan products in the processes and the services you provide. They've worked with the dermatologist and the different boards so that they're sanitary. There's so much amazing things that Alicia has done to prepare for this. And I can't do it justice. I'm just trying to relay what she taught me. But one of the things that Devin and Alicia have set up, on September 17th, Saturday, she's going to be holding an in-depth class where she's going to go into all those intricate things that talk about how really important it is for the spas and salons, how their business can improve. That one, they can strengthen the foundation. make it stable in the structure, and do it in a way that, and Devin talked about it earlier, the teams are growing. The fastest teams today that are growing in Rodan+Fields are the spa and salon owners, or the people who are working with them. So redefining spas and salons is not just for spa owners. Please don't misunderstand that. Anybody who knows spas and salon owners, who goes to spas and salons, you now have the ability with this information, what Alicia's going to talk to get them to be part of your team. In an amazing way, connecting in places where we couldn't go before. And to think, all of this is with the #1 premium anti-aging brand in the US. The fastest growing premium skincare for the last 5 years. And with the #1 premium anti-acne product in the world. Rodan+Fields, redefining business ownership, whether it's a spa or a salon, or anybody else. So we just want to thank you, and thank my wife for letting me do this and helping, and to really truly appreciate what the team is built on, of blessing a life and provision. Thank you.